Hi, everybody. I have been highlighting positive, inspirational stories that I have heard about or observed in my community during this pandemic. And I'm here with my friend, Marcia. Early on in the pandemic, she heard that some essential workers in her community needed masks, and she got into action. So what did you do, Marcia?
When I heard that one of the nursing facilities had workers that were scared to go to work because they didn't have protective gear, simple things as masks, it made me very sad. So I wanted to make sure that everyone felt comfortable going to work. So um, I put a post in our social site in our neighborhood, and I just put down, please don't be scared to go to work. If you need masks, I will sew them for you. And I began sewing them and distributing them through the community. I hadn't always kind of laughed at the idea of going to church online. I love being in the church, worshiping with others. So I didn't know if I was going to be receiving any messages from the online services. And the first week we were all kind of locked down in the state of California. Our pastor was trying to give us hope and trying to help us fight depression. And he had mentioned reinvent yourself. And I thought to myself, how am I going to reinvent myself locked in my own house? Like, not even the ability to go out and do anything to help reinvent myself. And frustrated, the following week, I hear my pastor say, do what you can in your own space. And with him saying that and reading about healthcare workers that are scared to go to work because they didn't have PPE, I just looked around and I was making aprons out of cotton. So I had cotton fabric, and I just turned that around and I just said, reinvent myself. Okay, I'm no longer working on a domestic line. I'm going to just start producing these masks and just start giving them straight to the public the best I could. I had lost my job, as so many people had lost their jobs through the pandemic. I was in catering, I was in house cleaning, and everything that was on the no list, I was told to just stay home. And during the whole time, I just gave it to the Lord. I was like, Lord, I don't know how we're going to get through this, but you've gotten me through worse times. You'll get me through this. And I just wanted to give out these masks. And the more I gave them away, people were insistent on donating to me. And it was really, really frustrating at first because I wanted this to be a gift of the Lord to others. I wanted to be able to say, go to work, don't work in fear, do what you need to do to get by. And it was frustrating because I wanted to give, but people were giving back to me. And in turn, I gave away so many masks, and people would say, how much can I give you for them? And I would say, nothing. If you want to donate a couple dollars for electricity, that's fine, but nothing really. People just left me money, and they just kept leaving me money, and it paid for my rent for 2 months. I just gave it to the Lord. And when my friend told me she put me on this prayer list, I just felt so supported, and I felt these messages from God coming through, and I was just blessed to have my rent paid.
So you must have made a lot of masks.
I lost count after 500, 600. I would literally be working 18 hours a day. I would sleep for about 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe if I was lucky, and just go right back at it, just sitting down on my little machine and just just
Wow.
sewing away.
Talk about the workers you provided masks for.
We had Child Protective Services workers. They also asked me for masks for the children that they would talk to have gifts for them to give them during the interview. It's such a scary time. And I made masks for ER nurses through Kaiser. I made masks for different school districts that needed them for their lunch workers that were passing out food. I made masks for people that did in-home supportive services. I made masks for caregivers that had elderly in their home. I made masks for social workers that worked with the homeless, grocery store workers, the list went on, construction workers, anyone that had a job still reached out to me.
How did it make you feel to know that you were helping these essential workers?
I wanted my community to feel safe. And that gave me so much contentment. And they kept thanking me over. I mean, weeks later, they kept sending me thank you messages. And it was just an overwhelming response, and I was not ready for it. I'm still very humbled by it, to be honest with you.
It's amazing to hear your story. Thank you so much for jumping into action and helping our community the way you did. What advice would you have for others who are out of work and just wondering, what can I do during this time?
Always keep your head up. I've been a single mom for 20 years, and for me to lose my job is and source of income or a housing is nothing new. Keep your head up, turn to the Lord. You will get messages, you will get ideas. Don't close yourself off to doing something completely different. I sat looking at that apron fabric for almost 3 weeks thinking, oh, well, there goes that clothing line. I've just missed the whole bridal season. And it wasn't until I heard my pastor's message, reinvent yourself, do what you can in your own space. It started the seeds of me going, okay, I got this. I have the materials. I'm just going to make masks, be open to any messages that are out there. Don't close yourself off. If you feel you have a sense of inspiration, if you feel like, oh, that's something I could do, don't let doubt and fear get in the way. Just allow yourself to reach for it and go for it, even if it's something completely new and different than you've ever done.
Wonderful advice. Thank you, Marcia, for sharing your story with us. Until next time, live it up. Live it up.
Live it up, girl. You're right. That's how it needs to be done.